Hey everyone, today I'm reviewing a very different bottle compared to others that I've reviewed and tasted. This is Heaven's Door Double Barrel Whiskey. Now, there's a bunch of interesting things to talk about this before I even get to the tasting. First and foremost, this is a Bob Dylan product. He is a partner on this. Obviously, the namesake Heaven's Door from this legendary song. So that's one thing. First of all, this is also a very, very nice looking bottle. And you'll note on the bottle is these iron items here. Basically, this is meant to represent the welded iron gate that he created and built in front of his studio. That's what this is on every bottle that I've seen. As far as the bottles in this series, there's a straight bourbon whiskey. Now, it's made in Tennessee. It's not a Tennessee whiskey. It's just called a straight bourbon whiskey. That's the first product. And this is another one. There's also, I think there's a 10-year also, but this is a double barrel whiskey. It doesn't say Tennessee whiskey and it doesn't say bourbon. It's not a bourbon. It's a blend of three whiskeys. Two of them, I believe, are bourbons made in Tennessee. They have a bourbon, they're not even bourbons. I think they have a bourbon-like mash bill, but they're not called a bourbon. And then the third is a straight rye whiskey. So you call it like kind of two bourbon-like whiskeys and one rye. And that's blended together. So those three are aged separately, 6 years, and then they are married together in a new charred oak barrel, and that's where the double barrel comes in for another year. Those three are married together and blended, and then you get this product. I think that's very interesting. I am very curious to try this. I just think there's a lot of interesting things about this, from the blending, from the secondary barrel, and from obviously the namesake. But from what I've read, this is, I've been very hesitant to try celebrity bottles because overall, generally the things I've heard have not always been great, but I have heard this one is separate from that. It's a little different, and this actually is more than just that. It's actually a really good bottle. So we're going to crack this open and see what it's all about. Okay, now we have it all poured up. Now, what I expect from this, since there is one of the three is straight rye, and the others are bourbon blends, but obviously probably have rye. There is no disclosed mash bill in this, so I can't tell the exact, but my guess is between all three barrels is probably a decent amount of rye, especially since one of them is straight rye. So let's start this out. I'm very excited. Let's give this a nose. It's not much to detect. It's kind of light, kind of fruity. I do detect a bunch of fruit, but let's give this a taste. Cheers. Wow, that's actually very, very good. That's very good. I detect fruit. I detect chocolate. I detect, let me try this once more. I do detect rye in there. I detect oak too, but not overpowering. It's just a nice, well-rounded flavor. If I didn't know that this was a blend of, three different whiskeys, and I didn't know that there was a straight rye in this, I would just, if I blind to test this, I would just probably say this was a regular, straight bourbon whiskey, or even a, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Again, whether it be Kentucky or otherwise. But I would say this was a bourbon. But the fact this is a whiskey, obviously, it does not adhere to all the practices of it being a bourbon. And also, the other thing is, in the beginning, the first set of barrels, from what I understand, are both new charred oak and also recently dumped bourbon barrels. So automatically, that would disqualify it, even if everything else was perfect, because it has to be in a new charred oak barrel. So very interesting. This will definitely take some more exploring. But definitely, so far, I would definitely recommend this. And then I'd be curious to try the others in this blend. So it's got a story, but it actually, as they say, it really actually has some teeth to it. And it's actually a really good pour. Cheers.